She said it like she was announcing the weather. We already tested her. I hadn't even sat down yet. If you're here, just stay with me for a minute, because nothing about that sentence made sense at the time, and I almost walked out before I understood what it really meant. I remember the room first. Not the words. The room. Too quiet. Not the normal kind. Not the kind where people are relaxed. The kind where everyone is waiting for something to happen. And then I noticed him. My husband wasn't looking at me. He was staring at the table, like he already knew where this was going. That's when something in me shifted. Because people don't avoid eye contact unless they're hiding something or expecting something. And suddenly I wasn't confused anymore. I was late. Late to a conversation that had already been happening without me. Tested who? I asked. No one answered immediately. His sister glanced at their mother. Their mother smiled. Not warmly. Not kindly. Just confidently. And that's when I noticed something else. There was an envelope on the table. Manila. Thick. Placed perfectly between the plates like it belonged there more than I did. I should have left right then. I didn't. Because I needed to hear them say it out loud. Needed to know how far they were willing to go. She doesn't look like us, his mother said finally. Calm. Practiced. Like she'd said it before. She. I repeated. But I already knew. My chest tightened anyway. Because hearing it is different from knowing it. She doesn't look like an Atwood. There it was. Out in the open. No more pretending. No more subtle comments hidden inside polite conversation. Just a clean accusation dressed up as concern. And the worst part? No one disagreed. Not his sister. Not his father. Not even him. That's when I realized. This wasn't the beginning of something. This was the end of something that had been building for a long time. And I had completely missed it. Or maybe I hadn't missed it. Maybe I just didn't understand what I was seeing. Not until that moment. Open it, she said. Not to me. To him. That mattered. Everything about this was designed for him to see, not me to defend. I watched his hand move toward the envelope. Slow. Hesitant. And for a second, just 1 second, I thought he might stop. He didn't. And that's when I made a decision. I wasn't going to interrupt them. I wasn't going to defend myself. I was going to let this play out. Because if they were this confident, then they believed they already had proof. And if they believed that, then something else had already happened. Something I didn't know about yet. But I was about to find out. And that's when I realized. This wasn't just a conversation. It was a setup. And I was the last person in the room to understand it. Alright, now we escalate, tighten the screws and start layering suspicion. It didn't start that night. That's what bothered me most once I replayed everything. This had been building. Quietly. Carefully. And I had seen pieces of it, I just didn't know what I was looking at. First it was small. Easy to dismiss. His mother asking questions that felt slightly off. Not direct. Never direct. Just specific enough to linger. What hospital was she born at again? What time exactly? Who was in the room with you? At the time I answered without thinking. Because why wouldn't I? But that's the thing about questions like that. They're not about curiosity. They're about verification. And I didn't realize that until much later. Then came the comments. Not accusations. Observations. The kind people pretend are harmless. She's so unique looking. That hair color is interesting. Where do you think that comes from? Always followed by a smile. Always light. Always deniable. I told myself I was overthinking it. I wanted to believe that. But then things started going missing. And that's when I noticed something. Not big things. Nothing obvious. Just small specific items. My daughter's brush. A cup she used every day. A blanket that stayed in her room. Suddenly in the laundry. I asked once, "Did you move this?" His mother didn't hesitate. No. Too quick. Too clean. And that should have been enough for me to question it. But I didn't. Because there was no reason to suspect anything yet. Until one afternoon. That's the moment everything shifted. I had stopped by unexpectedly. Just to pick something up. No warning. No call ahead. And when I walked in, they didn't hear me. His sister was in the kitchen. Phone in her hand. Laughing. Casual. Yeah, she has no idea, she said. I froze. Didn't move. Didn't make a sound. Mom already sent it in, she added. Sent what in? That's when my heart started beating faster. Because suddenly, everything clicked. The questions. The missing items. The way they looked at my daughter. It wasn't random. It wasn't curiosity. It was preparation. I stepped forward just enough for the floor to creak. She turned instantly. Ended the call. Too fast. Oh hey, she said. Like nothing happened. Like I hadn't just heard exactly what I heard. I smiled. Same way she did. Light. Polite. Just grabbing something, I said. She nodded. Didn't ask what. Didn't question why I hadn't called. And that's when I knew for sure. She was nervous. Not guilty. Not yet. Just aware that something almost slipped. I grabbed my things. Walked out. Got in my car. Closed the door. And sat there. For a long time. Because now I wasn't guessing anymore. Now I knew something had been sent. Something involving my daughter. Without me. And that's when I realized. By the time I walked into that dinner, this had already been in motion for weeks. Maybe longer. And whatever was inside that envelope was never meant to surprise them. Only me. All right, now we turn pressure into confrontation and stack voices. Just open it, his mother said again. Still calm. Still certain. Like there was no version of this where she wasn't right. My husband didn't move. Not immediately. His fingers rested on the edge of the envelope. But he didn't pick it up. That hesitation mattered. More than anything else in that moment. Because it meant part of him already doubted this. Where did this even come from? He asked. Finally. Too late, but still. His mother didn't blink. A certified lab, she said. No name. No details. Just confidence. His sister leaned forward. We just need clarity, she added. There it was again. That word. Clarity. Like I was the problem to be solved. Not the person sitting right in front of them. I let them talk. I needed to hear how far they'd go. Because people reveal more when they think they're right. We've all noticed it, his sister continued. Not just Mom. His father shifted in his chair. Didn't speak. Didn't defend me. Just stayed quiet. And silence like that? It's not neutral. It's agreement. That hair, his mother said softly. Almost thoughtful. Those features, they don't match. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was predictable. They had built this entire moment on how a child looks. Not facts. Not truth. Just perception. And they believed it. That's the dangerous part. I think, his mother continued, that he deserves to know. She nodded toward my husband. Not me. Never me. Because in her version of this, I wasn't part of the truth. I was the threat to it. Know what? He asked quietly. And for the first time, there was something in his voice. Not anger. Not yet. But tension. The kind that builds right before something breaks. That she might not be yours, she said. No hesitation this time. No softness. Just direct. Clean. Final. The sentence hung there. Heavy. Unavoidable. And still, no one stopped her. His sister nodded slightly. Encouraging. His father looked away. Avoiding. And my husband, he just stared at the envelope again. Like it suddenly weighed more than it should. That's when I noticed something else. No one was looking at me anymore. Not really. They weren't waiting for a response. They weren't expecting one. Because in their minds, this was already decided. I was just there to witness it. And that's when I made a choice. A very deliberate one. I leaned back. Folded my hands. Stayed quiet. Because interrupting them now would only slow them down. And I didn't want that. I wanted them to keep going. To say everything. To expose every assumption, every belief. Every piece of this plan. Because the more they said, the less I'd have to. And that's when his sister said something she wasn't supposed to say yet. Once he sees the results, she added, he won't be able to ignore it. The room stilled. Just for a second. But I caught it. That one line told me everything. This wasn't a question. It was a conclusion. Already reached. Already accepted. And now, all they needed was for him to agree. That's when I looked at the envelope again. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with certainty. Because now I knew something they didn't. Whatever was inside that envelope wasn't going to do what they thought it would. And they had no idea. Not yet. Good, this is where tension peaks right before everything flips. Open it, she said again. Quieter this time. More controlled. Like she didn't want to push too hard, because she thought she didn't need to. My husband finally picked it up. Slow. Careful. Like whatever was inside could still change if he delayed long enough. It couldn't. I watched his hands, not his face. Hands don't lie the way expressions do. They were steady but tight. That grip meant something. He already felt it. The weight of what was about to happen. Just read it, his sister added. Too quickly. Too eager. That told me something too. She'd been waiting for this moment. Not hoping. Waiting. The room went quiet again. But not empty. Full. Packed with expectation. Every person leaning into the same outcome. Except me. I leaned back further. Gave him space. Because this part had to come from him. Not me. He slid his finger under the seal. Paused. Just for a second. And in that second, I saw it. The doubt. Real this time. Mom, what exactly is this? He asked. Last chance. That's what that question was. A final opportunity for her to soften it. To reframe it. To step back. She didn't. It's a DNA test, she said. Simple. Direct. Proud. And that was the moment everything locked into place. Because now there was no going back. He opened it. Pulled out the papers. 3 pages. Maybe 4. Official letterhead. Clean formatting. Designed to look unquestionable. That part almost impressed me. Almost. He started reading. Silently. 10 seconds. 15. 20. Too long. Way too long for something that was supposed to be obvious. That's when I noticed something shift. Not in the room. In him. His eyes slowed. Then stopped. Then went back. Rereading. That's when his sister leaned forward. What does it say? Too fast again. She couldn't wait. She thought she already knew. He didn't answer. Not right away. He lowered the paper slightly. Looked at his mother. Really looked at her this time. And something in that look wasn't confusion anymore. It was something else. Something they hadn't planned for. What lab did you use? He asked. That question changed the room. Subtly. But enough. His mother hesitated. Just a fraction. But I saw it. Why does that matter? She replied. Wrong answer. Completely wrong answer. 'Cause now, he wasn't just reading the results. He was questioning them. And once that starts, you can't control where it goes. That matters, he said slowly. Because this doesn't say what you think it says. Silence. Immediate. Heavy. His sister blinked. What do you mean? His father looked up. First time since this started. And his mother. She smiled. But it wasn't steady anymore. It was cracking. You're reading it wrong, she said. Confident but forced. And that's when I knew. We were exactly where we needed to be. Right on the edge of it. Because in the next few seconds, everything they built this moment on was about to collapse. And they still didn't see it coming. Good, now we flip the entire table. You're reading it wrong, his mother repeated. But her voice wasn't as steady this time. That was the first real crack. My husband didn't respond immediately. He just looked at the paper again, slower now. More careful. Like he was searching for a second meaning that wasn't there. Then he spoke. Quietly. Controlled. Almost detached. It says 99.9% probability of paternity. Silence hit the room instantly. Not shock yet. Confusion first. That delay matters. Because it means reality hasn't fully caught up to expectation. His sister frowned. That's impossible. His mother shook her head immediately. No, there must be another page. She reached forward. Too fast now. Desperate instead of confident. My husband pulled the papers back slightly. Not aggressive. Just firm. And that small movement changed everything. 'Cause now, he was no longer receiving the narrative. He was controlling it. You sent this in yourself? he asked her. Still calm, but sharper underneath. She hesitated again. Longer this time. Yes, she said. But it didn't land right. Not anymore. Because now there was doubt in her voice too. I watched all of it quietly. Every shift. Every hesitation. Every micro-expression that told the real story under the spoken one. That's when I spoke for the first time. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough. I think you should read page 4, I said. His eyes flicked to me. That surprised him more than anything else. Because I hadn't been participating. Until now. He turned the page. And I saw it before he read it. That pause. That slight stillness that happens when the brain refuses to accept what the eyes are seeing. Potential familial match, he read slowly. His voice changed. Subtly. Less certain now. He continued. James M. He stopped. Looked up. Back down. Read it again. That's when his sister leaned forward. What is that? But she already knew something was wrong. Everyone did. Even his mother had stopped moving. He's listed as. My husband paused. A half-uncle? That word dropped into the room like something heavy breaking glass. No one spoke. Not immediately. Because no one understood it fast enough. Then his father finally leaned in. Half-uncle to who? And that's when I saw it. The exact moment their confidence died. Because now this wasn't about me anymore. It wasn't even about my daughter. It was about something they didn't expect to exist. My husband looked up at his mother. Slowly now. Carefully. Who is James M? She didn't answer. Not because she didn't hear him. Because she couldn't. Her mouth opened slightly. Then closed again. Like the answer physically refused to come out. And that silence told me everything I needed. Because people only go quiet like that when the truth is heavier than the lie they built around it. And right then, I realized something important. The DNA test was never the real story. It was just the surface. The thing they thought would expose me was about to expose them instead. And they had no control over what came next. None at all. Good, now we start pulling the hidden thread that collapses everything. Who is James M? My husband asked it again. Slower this time. Like repetition might force the answer out of her. It didn't. His mother didn't move. Not at first. Just stared at the paper like it had changed shape in her hands. That's when I noticed something important. Her confidence wasn't just fading. It was reorganizing. Like she was trying to rebuild the explanation in real time. It's probably a database error, she said finally. Too quick. Too rehearsed. And that was the first time she sounded unsure. His sister jumped in immediately. There are always glitches in those systems. No, my husband interrupted. Not loud. Not angry. Just final. That one word shut her down instantly. Silence again. But this one felt different. He turned slightly toward me. I didn't know about this, he said. I nodded once. I know. Because that wasn't the point anymore. Not for me. Not for him. This had moved past misunderstanding. Now it was structure. And structures don't collapse from one crack. They collapse when the foundation was wrong from the start. I leaned forward slightly. Read the match details again, I said. He did. Slowly. Carefully. Then stopped. His eyes narrowed. Half-uncle, he repeated. Then looked at his mother. Mom. What does that even mean? And that's when I saw it. The moment she understood she couldn't escape this by deflecting anymore. Because now the question wasn't about the test. It was about biology. Connection. History. Things you can't fake with confidence. His mother swallowed. Once. Hard. Then spoke. It means nothing, she said. But her voice broke slightly on the last word. That mattered. Because she knew that wasn't true. His father finally shifted in his seat. For God's sake, Patricia, he said quietly. First time he used her name like that. Not soft. Not familiar. Just weighty. What aren't you saying? That question changed her breathing. I saw it. A pause too long between inhale and exhale. And in that pause, something inside her gave up control. It's not relevant, she said quickly. Too quickly. And that's when I understood. She wasn't protecting the situation anymore. She was protecting something underneath it. Something older. Something buried. My husband looked at me again. This time differently. Not confusion. Not doubt. But alignment. Like he was finally stepping into the same realization I had already reached. You knew about this, he said to her. Not a question anymore. A conclusion. And she didn't answer. Which was an answer in itself. Because silence is only powerful until it becomes evidence. I stood up slowly. Not dramatically. Just enough to shift the room's attention. Let me help, I said softly. All eyes turned to me now. Because I hadn't been part of their argument. I had been observing it. And I continued. This isn't about the test anymore. His sister scoffed nervously. Then what is it about? I looked at his mother. Directly. And said the only thing that mattered. It's about James. That name landed differently now. Heavier. Because now it wasn't a random match in a database. It was a missing piece in a story none of them were ready to acknowledge. And I could see it in her face. She finally understood. She couldn't control what came next anymore. Not the truth. Not the room. Not even the silence. And for the first time that night, she looked afraid. Good, now we go into the full collapse phase where the hidden past breaks the present. It's about James. I said it slowly. Not to accuse. To expose. The room changed immediately after that sentence. Not loudly. Subtly. Like oxygen thinning without warning. His mother's eyes tightened. A reflex, not a choice. That name has nothing to do with this, she said. But it came out too controlled. Too carefully placed. And that's how I knew I was right. My husband looked between us. Back and forth. Trying to connect something he didn't have the full picture for yet. What does she mean? He asked again. But this time, he wasn't asking her. He was asking me. That shift mattered. Because now I had permission to speak. I reached into my bag. Not rushed. Not emotional. Controlled. I placed my phone on the table. Turned it toward them. The screen was already open. DNA match records. One name highlighted. James M. His sister leaned forward immediately. What is that? I didn't answer her. I kept my eyes on his mother. Tell him, I said quietly. No aggression. Just certainty. And that's when she finally cracked. Not fully. Not dramatically. Just enough to lose composure. That was a long time ago, she said. And in that one sentence, everything changed. His father straightened. Slowly. What was a long time ago? Silence again. But different now. Not protective silence. Exposed silence. My husband leaned back slightly. Like his body was trying to create distance from something his mind hadn't fully accepted yet. You had another child, he said. Not guessing anymore. Understanding. And the room froze. Completely. His mother didn't answer. But she didn't deny it either. And that was worse. Because denial would have been easier to process. Truth without denial leaves no escape route. I was 25, she said finally. Her voice thinner now. It was before your father. Before everything. His father didn't move. Didn't blink. Just stared at her like the air had been removed from the room. And you never told me, he said quietly. Not angry. Not loud. Just final in a different way. She shook her head slightly. I couldn't. His sister stood up suddenly. No, this is not. Sit down, my husband said. His voice cut through hers instantly. She froze. Sat back down. For the first time that night. He wasn't reacting. He was controlling the room. And his mother noticed it. I saw it in her eyes. For the first time. For the first time. She wasn't leading the room anymore. She was inside it. And that difference changed everything. His mother looked at each of us slowly. Like she was trying to find a version of this moment where she still had control over the outcome. But there wasn't one. Not anymore. I was going to tell you, she said quietly. No one responded. Because that sentence didn't land as truth. It landed as delay. My husband shook his head slightly. No, he said. Not loud. Not emotional. Just certain. You were going to protect yourself first. Like always. That word hit differently now. Protect. It didn't mean what she thought it meant anymore. His father finally spoke again, slower this time. How long? She hesitated. And in that hesitation we all understood the answer was worse than the question. 36 years, she whispered. The number didn't shock anyone anymore. It just settled. Heavy. Permanent. Like something that had always been in the room, and we were only now seeing it clearly. His sister covered her mouth, shaking her head like denial could still undo hearing it. But it couldn't. Nothing could. My husband stood up slowly. Not angry. Not explosive. Finished. He looked at his mother for a long moment, not searching for answers now, just acknowledging the truth of what she had built. You didn't lose control today, he said quietly. You lost it a long time ago. You just didn't realize it yet. That was the moment she broke. Not loudly. No collapse. Just a quiet lowering of her gaze. Like something inside her had finally accepted it couldn't defend itself anymore. His father pushed his chair back. The sound was sharp in the silence. I need air, he said, and walked out. No one stopped him, because there was nothing left to hold in place. My husband turned to me briefly. A look, not a sentence. We understood it. It was time to leave.